Joining us are the top bosses of the company. We've got Inder Jaisinghani, the Chairman and Managing Director. Also joining us is Gandharv Tongia, the CFO of Polycab India. Mr. Jaisinghani, let me come to you first. If I look at Polycab and the business that you're in, one can also say it's a proxy for real estate. With the boom that is now coming in, the pickup in construction activity, the capex cycle that is being increased by not just real estate developers, but even this government, the growth that you've seen, I would imagine it's sustainable, or can you even do better?
Building construction sector, especially more because of they are everybody getting a loan on the lower interest, and everybody want to see that they want to buy a house. So I think so that the construction line is demanding huge, but even industries going for a huge expansion because now everybody feeling that world is looking to India. So our capacity we are increasing. This is the right time to increase the capacity to make it India culture. In that way, everywhere demand is from all point of view, industry point of view, infra point of view, and what the government is investing in the infra. There is also huge demand. Plus, we are looking for a green energy, electric powers, that even wind energy. Demand is good, and we are thinking this will be continue now. It is not going to stop. It is going to continue. It is going to grow.
Mr. Tongia, as a CFO, how concerned are you about margins and cost pressures going forward? This is a theme that is playing out across the market. What companies are talking about, inflation catching up. And in your particular space, look at copper, aluminum, the other key raw materials.
Great question. Overall revenue in second quarter grew by 48% year on year to 3,100 crore rupees and to almost 5,000 crore rupees in the first half. Perhaps it was the highest Q2 number which we have recorded, and it was higher than the entire first half of the last year. Growth is broad-based across all the regions and towns, and the government initiative, unlocking of towns, vaccination drive, festive season has helped us in achieving this top-line growth. Our focus as of now, considering the input cost pressure, is to maintain a fine balance between the top-line growth, utilization, and bottom line. At the product portfolio level, at the cost basket level, the cost increase almost in single mid-digit, whereas the price hikes which we have taken is in low single digit. And that is where there is a slight contraction in contribution margin in the second quarter when we compare with the first quarter. Historically, we have been ranging between 11% to 13% of EBITDA margin, and it looks like that this year we would exit towards the lower end of that range. Having said that, I think the near term we should be able to bounce back to the normal regular EBITDA margin of 11 to 13% in cable and wire business, and FMEG business we should be able to improve the EBITDA margins as we go along. As a matter of fact, in the second quarter, the EBIT margins have improved in FMEG business to 5%, which was a loss in the first quarter. It looks like that between now and 26, which is our target state under Project LEAP, which we are working with BCG, we should be able to touch 20,000 crore rupees of top line with significantly better margins in the B2C business.
Gandharv, also wanted to understand what kind of price hikes are you looking to undertake now and going forward? How much do you anticipate?
So as I mentioned, we will continue to take price hike. It looks like that we would probably exit this year towards the lower end of the EBITDA margin range, which we have experienced over the last few years. The range was 11 to 13%. On the FMEG side, we should be able to pass on almost all the cost increases, but at the same time, we are working on cost optimization and trying to unlock internal synergies with the help of Boston Consulting Group under the Project LEAP. So overall, this year margins may be slightly on the lower side of the EBITDA range, but from next year onwards, we should be able to increase the EBITDA margins slowly and gradually, more particularly in the B2C segment.
Sure. In that now that FMEG is around almost 10% of your revenues, what is the growth strategy here, and when will Polycab's revenue mix actually resemble other FMEG or light electrical players?
Yeah, sure. We had started this line because of two. We want to see that our share of our total business should be FME at least 35%. So we are looking in future, in coming 5 years, our business will be FME minimum 35% and with the good EBITDA.
Mr. Tongia, it's an established fact that the company is a market leader and has had steady and healthy market share gains over the last few years. Do you expect that to continue? Where do you see it settling at?
So we are working on improving our GTN, our reach, the distributors and dealers availability, and on our network. Overall, I think the government initiatives on attracting the private capex and structural reform would help us in improving the overall demand environment. And the push which we are internally trying to create by having more dealers and distributors, by ensuring that we are available at the right price with the quality for which we have been known for the last 50 years, would help us in continuing this momentum and improve it as we proceed to Project Leap in the next 5 years.
All right. Mr. Jaisinghani, also trying to get a sense of how the broader market, rather, if we talk about the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, how is the demand panning out there? And are you seeing a recovery as some other players have talked about?
On the contrary, tier 2, tier 3 rural market is increasing good demand. That is because of unorganized sector cannot deliver the material in this pandemic situation because of the raw material shortage. On the contrary, business is growing because everybody can book the order. Now, earlier people were going personally, taking order from in the rural area. But nowadays, everybody understood second generation is very smart. They are looking on the business. They have to give order on the mobile app or they have to give on a portal. So everybody is connected. So now connected, better communication and more that demand is there. On the contrary, rural demand is increased and it is going to increase. And because of supply chain, if your supply chain is good, then demand is good. Because everybody wants material every day. So the range is increased and nobody really getting material because of the shortage of the raw material. So organized sector, not only we, mostly all are growing continuously. And I think so this growth will be going to support. On the contrary, rural market, we are focusing now. 3-tier and 4-tier rural market, we are separately focusing now how we can work more, increase our network and reach over there.
Mr. Tongia, I've already asked you about inflationary pressures, but there is another global trend, which is of global supply disruptions. How has that impacted the company?
I think the price hike across all the commodities have impacted the unorganized players. It's impossible for them to bear this particular loss. The copper LME was almost $5,000 in March or April of last year. It's only around 10,500. But for a player like us, we are the market leader. We don't necessarily face any of such issues. Having said that, I think in the export arena, there were some issues on the export logistics because of freight issues and availability of container. But things have improved from the last quarter. Second quarter was a little bit better than the first quarter on the exports logistics. And it seems that as we proceed to the second half of the year, things will improve significantly.
All right, Mr. Jaisinghani as well as Mr. Tongia, thank you so much for taking the time. Wish you all the best in the coming quarters.